if the ideas were dirty socks and beach towels and liver, I might then say, as I was saying, I really like Italian food, but my favorite thing when I'm really famished is a nice beach towel with a side of sand. And so you're gonna take whatever ridiculous ideas get thrown out and add them into your brief little story. So this is just a real quick game to get us all warmed up a little bit. And to start out, let's go ahead and have, Mark, would you mind doing the first one?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay,
so are
great.
we
And
looking
then,
for words in the chat? Is that how that's working?
yes, so if you want to add some ideas, so Mark's gonna give you a sentence stem. He'll start an idea, throw out some things that just don't seem to fit and see if he can make them fit. So Mark, what is your sentence stem?
It was a dark and stormy night in northern France. However,
All right. So Mark has the option of popping up his chat and looking to see the different ideas there. Or if he doesn't want to mess with that as a storyteller, I can read them to him. So Mark, go ahead with your dark and stormy night.
well, I'm waiting for my chat to come up. All right. It was a dark and stormy night in northern France. I was out doing my normal job, which is, of course, catching lobster. And tonight I didn't get any lobster. Now, I'm no crybaby, but I realized that this could be a gravy opportunity for me. I mean, I have been hunting lobsters for many years, and that's kept me in beer and Skittles. But tonight, it seemed like I was going to be out of beer. I knew I needed to get home because my wife was suffering from a debilitating case of the warts. And the only known cure for warts, as everybody knows, every medical professional knows, is Pop Rocks. Now, we had planned a big trip to Germany because I had a craving for liverwurst, but there was not going to be any gold at the other side of that rainbow, because I knew that the Germans hated the French. I mean, that's been proven at least twice. So I took my turtle that usually hunts lobsters with me, and I went out fishing. Unfortunately, it was a bad night for the turtle. He had a nosebleed. But as he put his head over the boat, it attracted fish. And I brought my net with me, and I was able to haul in an avalanche of fish, more fish than I had ever seen. Well, I was feeling really good at this point. So I slung my fish over my shoulder. I took my trusty turtle, and I got on my bicycle, and I rode home with where there was my wife with her horrible warts and our lovely litter of kittens. And it turned out okay. Back to you, Madam MC.
Nice job, Mark. And Mark, of course, went above and beyond by integrating every single idea that he saw in the chat into his response. You can do it up big like Mark did, or you can go the easier route. Our next player is Ben Trexel. Ben, can you give us a sentence stem? You'll have to unmute first.
Okay. I really enjoy mowing the lawn, except.
So put your ideas into the chat. And Ben, whenever you see something that sounds like it goes with your mowing the lawn hobby,
Yes, as I'm mowing the lawn and I hit a big pile of M&Ms, it really chocolates up my bag that I'm catching the grass in. And I often have to throw it away and dump it over so the chickens can finish eating the rest of it. And the trouble with that is, unless there's a lot of snow, it melts in my lawn mowing bag, not in my hands. But that's okay. Because then, after I go out to the road and the edge and pick up the roadkill to try to clean my hands off of all the chocolate, I end up with, Jamie, there's nothing under your name for the next word I need to know what to do to continue mowing my lawn as I going back and forth between the roadkill, the M&Ms and the chickens and the cut up frogs, because I love frog legs and I have to fight with the chickens to get the frog legs because the front of the frogs are crawling around like this, trying to go without their back legs, and they don't have a leg to stand on. So it's pretty bad. And back to you, Madam MC.
Thank you, Ben.
Oh, I missed a couple of words.
That's all right. And you'll
I'm
notice
sorry.
too that all improv is really about is just going with whatever comes up. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be silly and ridiculous. And the more you can just let go and have fun, the better off you'll be and the better off your audience will be. Our next player is Sue in our session? Do I see you, Sue? All right, Sue Schmidt.
I was in the kitchen trying to decide what to make for dinner when a lizard slid out from the refrigerator.
All right, she's getting some ideas starting there. Anybody that has anything to add?
Wow, I'm not sure where the last one stopped and this one started. You guys are really enthusiastic. All right. Let's see. I was in the kitchen just trying to decide what to make for dinner when a lizard slithered out from underneath the refrigerator. I think it's a space alien. The only reason that I think that is because it seems to be covered in table salt and onion soup, and it's chasing a roach. I've never seen a lizard chase a roach, have you? Holy moly. And who has ever heard of liquid lettuce? But there it is on the kitchen floor, and the lizard is sliding over to it as if he's trying to wash off those salt crystals and that onion soup. Quick, get a wet blanket, throw it on top of him, and cover it with exploding flour. That could be an interesting pizza, don't you think? Lizard pizza with buffalo chips, no less. I'll put my phone number in chat. You can all come for dinner. Back to you, Stephanie.
Sue, as much as I enjoyed your answer, I can't make dinner that night. I can't figure out why. Thank you, everybody, for playing that quick little warm-up round for us. And I am going to turn it over to Mark for this next activity.
Yeah. I am really excited today because we have in our midst a foreign poet, a well acclaimed foreign poet. There's only one challenge with this. The poet doesn't actually speak any English. And so we're going to need an interpreter for this. Fortunately, we have an interpreter who speaks this language that nobody's ever heard of before. For our next event, I'm going to need our poet, Ben Trexel, or actually, would you introduce yourself, sir? Would you introduce yourself? Oh, the poet is mute. That's going to make this game a lot more challenging.
Hinga, hinga, whoosh,
Oh, yeah. All right.
whoosh.
Perfect. Perfect. And so we have our resident interpreter. Sir, in the tie-dyed shirt, could you please translate that for us?
I'm very happy to. Hinan Hiamush is our resident poet, and he has introduced himself and said that he has been a longtime poet and is very pleased to be here.
Great, great. What I need from the audience is, we don't have a topic for this poem, so if somebody could put in the chat a topic for the poem.
And while they're doing that,
Hunga, ninga, hu, huwaba, pipa, 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 whoop, whoop, whoop.
okay,
Gufa.
Perfect.
he said that he is very willing to talk about almost any subject. He prefers nature or man-made. That aside from that, he's open for anything.
Great. We'd really love to hear a poem today about ice cream. I know that's on a lot of people's minds.
Okay. Grefna wapa yefta.
Hunga. Yita, yita, hunga, 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 hunga. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum.
I'm going to interrupt him so I can get to translation. He says, very large mountains, very wide rivers, and strip clubs. Go ahead.
Hinga, hura, hua, hua, hua. Bum, ba, 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 bum. Hita, hita, ooh, ooh, ooh.
The poet, oh, wait, he's changed it. It's completely different now. Oh my, oh dear. Okay,
Huja, huja, tita.
the poet
Tita,
says,
huja, tu.
Okay, the poet says, the sun is rising over the cotton fields, and many people with electronic ears are tasting the dirt, and love is in their feet, and their heads are filled with
Mifnafna, nina, ida, huja.
and their heads are empty of intelligence. Okay.
Hinga, hufa, dun, dun.
Oh, and there is the meaning of ice cream.
Oh, wow, that was a long way to go.
Oh my goodness!
That was a long way to go.
I do not translate well into our language, for so many words do not translate well. But this napet bufya nyetsi bafam mwak.
Awesome. Hey, this has been great. Hey, just anybody speak a non-existent language in the audience? Feel free to unmute yourself if you do. All right. Well, if not, then what we're going to do is we're going to have our next poet. Is Reginald on?
Reginald is not with us. Scoundrel.
Could we have a volunteer from our cast?
Sir, where is Reginald?
I'm not Reginald's keeper. All right, Arthur speaks a non-existent language. Great. we need a non-existent language speaker like Arthur, and then we're going to have an interpreter. Stephanie, I think that's probably right up your alley, isn't it? Don't you speak that non-existent language as well?
Yes, I believe I do.
All right. And so what we need in the chat is we need a topic. Anyone? Love. I love it. I'm going with love. So, Arthur, if you could give us our, could you please introduce yourself?
I am the manifestation of love.
Okay. Could you please
However,
say it in your native tongue? In your native tongue, sir?
Yalabuya Booma.
Perfect, perfect. I know that you only know that you're the manifestation of love in English, so that is a great description. If we could have our interpreter interpret Dayananda, what he just said, into English, please, sir, continue.
When the laga boo boo, ja booma, booma la. Ah!
As I travel the world and its wonders, I wonder and wonder and wonder.
Yalla ba. Booma la.
You may wonder why I wonder. Isn't it obvious? Isn't it? Isn't it?
Ah. Booma laga boo boo. Boo. La 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 la. Oh la 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 la. Oh God. Oh God.
As the embodiment of love, I must sometimes scale down to the most essential part of me. This is how we find the path to true embodied love.
Siga. Siga ma. Siga da. Siga liga gaga boo boo boo.
And this is the truth you must seek as you walk the earth and find your own path.
Thank you. Wow, that was amazing. Yeah, that is the way that I always end all my poems too. That is that's a trade tip right there, is what we call that. I think what we're going to do now that we've had this culture hour or 10 minutes in our session, I think we're going to move on to something a little bit more serious. Does that sound about right, Stephanie?
It does.
All right, we are going to have a panel discussion. I don't know if any of you are news junkies. I know I am. And now we're going to jump into a game called Meet the Press Change. In order to do this, I'm going to need a topic, a non-controversial topic that you would normally not see on a news show. Think about, do you clip or bite your nails, or do you dog sweaters? Are they a good thing or a bad thing? Just go ahead and put it in the chat.
Trash cans in parks.
Trash cans in parks. I know that's been on, I saw it on CNN last night. Everybody's talking about it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to moderate this panel discussion. I'm going to need for this game are players who are Jamie and Ben and Stephanie, I think. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, Jamie and Ben, Stephanie. All right. We are going to talk about trash cans, and I want to welcome everybody to Meet the Press. Very dramatic, okay. All right. Welcome back to Meet the Press. We have a very important panel discussion. A lot of people, I was looking at the recent Ipsos, NPR, Quinnipiac, NBC poll, and it looks like there's a lot of controversy going on about trash cans in the park. And so I've pulled together a panel. Sir in the yellow, could you please tell your name and where you're from?
Yes, I'm Glenn, and I represent the National Glen Society, and we are concerned about trash in glens around America.
Oh, great, great, thank you. Sir in blue, could you please tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from?
Sir, I'm from the National Enquirer, and we believe that you're hiding the story that the trash cans in parks are actually small rocket tubes ready to being launched by the people who came in UFOs when they're getting ready to leave and take all our Bitcoin with them. And we think you should talk about that.
All right, yeah. Lady in blue, could you please?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I am Mary, and I'm for everything the way that it is most natural. And so it's just not natural to have a trash can in every park all over the place. I mean, let things go back to the earth from whence it came.
Oh, yeah. And I forgot to mention one more thing about our panel. At any time, I can yell change, and they'll have to change what they have to say. So let's start with you, Glenn.
I'm telling you that this idea of putting trash cans in parks, greatest thing we could possibly do. Why, you could just take all that trash, those beer bottles that those atheists leave there, and you can just put them in that trash can, and it makes it all nice and clean. And now we have a nice clean Glen, and a clean Glen is a great Glen. It's great for society.
Change that.
A clean Glen is a good enough Glen, and that's great for society.
I think you should change that.
A clean Glen is just a pimple that needs to be squeezed.
Thank you, thank you. Boris, if we can go over to you. I've heard you speak several times very passionately about this subject. Tell us a little bit more about that.
We believe that these trash cans that are really rocket tubes that aren't going to be returned to the earth, as our other panelists has pointed out, we believe they're going to be returning to outer space, and we've got to stop this diabolical plan. In fact,
You should change that.
We believe these rockets are going to shoot down to the middle of the earth and compete with the lizard people that live there that are making the earth flat.
Change that.
And we believe that these rocket tubes are going to suck up all the oceans and take our water away.
Very likely. Mary, if you could please expound. I know that you were just making the rounds on all the shows. Please expound on it.
Well, as you know, I'm part of a grassroots movement toward, more grassroots. And it just clogs things up. I mean, trash cans aren't attractive. It's not pretty to have that in there. Sometimes when you have a little bit of litter on the ground, you have some color, you have some vibrancy, you have some texture.
I think you should change that, please.
Sometimes when you have a little bit of litter on the ground, it offers an opportunity for Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts to go and do a project.
Change, please.
Sometimes when you have a lot of litter on the ground, you just need to learn how to adapt and let it go.
Actually, we saw that in recent polls. A lot of people are in favor of litter on the ground. Boris, one controversial thing about trash cans is the fact that you brought up that they're not recyclable. Tell us your views on that.
Well, according to the recent polls that I've talked to, they're planning on taking them back to Poland and using them for housing because they're not really, according to what I heard, they're going to make large columns out of these trash cans and actually make poles out of them.
Yeah, change, please.
According to what I just heard, they're going to lay them down and make big rollers so that we can squash the trash down that's on the ground, and then the cats will be able to use the litter on the ground as a litter box.
So you're saying really it's an infrastructure plan. Glenn,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, if you could you tell us a little bit more?
Well, see, the infrastructure is going to be.
Boris, can we go back over to Glenn? I got a question for you.
I actually believe that the Green Earth Society is just not thinking in the grander scale. Like trash cans are great for civilization.
Change.
Trash cans are the death of civilizations.
Change, please.
Trash cans are the analogy of civilization. Every piece of trash in civilization should be put into a can, and then those cans should be launched into space where Iowa will get ripped out of their 5-cent deposit.
Change, please.
And where Connecticut will get ripped out of their 10-cent deposit.
Change, please.
Where the National Aluminum Society will just glow with delight because that means they have to produce more aluminum.
Yeah,
that's their real mission.
Yeah, it is a real mission. Mary, final thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to say that we have to have a way for future generations to know that we were here. If we get, we have to have a way for future generations to learn what's important in life. And, you know, to be able to, well, you know, we really need an opportunity to show the world that we're not afraid of our own litter and our own creation. We are empowered by the mark that we make.
All right, panel, unfortunately, that's all the time we have. And remember, if it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Yeah.
All right, there's how that game is played. I am going to turn it back over to our MC, Stephanie, for the next round.
All
I'm
right.
going to take off this tie.
Well, there you go. And you can leave the Meet the Press scene. So there you have it. We have all the bells and whistles in this session. Our next game is one you may have seen before on television or in the actual game show format or on some of the improv shows that you may have seen on TV. It's called The Dating Game. And we have a bachelorette who is going to be our guesser in terms of who everyone else is. And so, Sue, you're our person for that. And Carrie, are you our Zoom person? I'm echoing right now.
Yeah, well, Will's microphone was picking you up.
Oh.
Will, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Sherry.
Great. So do we have a Zoom person who can take Sue into a separate breakout so that she can't hear this next part, please?
I'll see if I have the ability to do that.
I think she can go into it on her own. Just go to breakout room at the bottom.
Oh yeah, I think she can. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Actually, you can
And
brief.
it's called isolation room at the bottom.
Yep. And then you can come back after.
And Sue, we cannot hear you at the moment. You're muted.
And when one of us comes in there to get you, we'll bring you back.
Okay, I'm going to isolation.
All right, thank you. And we have some potential dates for her. We have Mark, Ben, and Will as our contestants for this particular part.
Hold one moment, please. I can't seem to get out of here.
Did you click join and then yes?
Did I do what?
When you go down to isolation room, off to the right, the word join is there.
Or there's a number there or a zero.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, way off to the right.
That's
Sometimes
how
they
we
hide.
felt during the business meeting too.
Yeah.
All right. So our contestants are Mark, Ben, and Will. And what we need to get from everybody are some ideas of who Mark, Ben, and Will are going to be. And that they're going to drop clues to Sue, and she'll try to guess who they are. Ben, did you have something?
Well, I don't need to be in everything, by the way. I feel like a pig, but I'm certainly willing to do it. If somebody else really wants to volunteer, I will step back. But I'm just saying, okay, I just throw that out there, but that's all I had.
And for this one, since I'm not sure if Sue can see our chat in the breakout room, she shouldn't be able to, but I want to double check. We may want to say these out loud.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
I don't know who that is, but fine.
I'll take Matthew.
Okay, Mark is going to be Matthew McConaughey. Another idea. We need 3 of them. Oh, Sherry. Okay. Sherry, you can private chat it to me. And I'll get it that way too.
I see that somebody living in the basement with their mom and is 35 years old is in the chat.
Perfect.
Too close, man. Too close. Too soon.
Hey,
And
I'm 69.
A ukulele maker is in there too.
And Ken, did you have an idea? You were raising your hand?
A guy that always talks about his dog.
A guy that always talks about his dog. Or maybe someone who is becoming his dog. All right, so we have the guy who's living in the basement, and can that be, how about Will for that? And then Ben, you're the guy who always talks about his dog and maybe becoming his dog.
May I go get Sherman to help me with this?
That is completely up to you.
I don't know where he's at right now.
Props are up to the player.
Sorry.
All right, so I'm gonna go in and get Sue back from the
Wait,
breakout.
And I'm Matthew McConaughey, right?
You're Matthew McConaughey.
All right, all right, all
But
right.
I'm becoming my dog or a dog.
Yep.
Okay.
We've lost Stephanie in the breakout room.
I bet we can get her back. She'll come back. There she is. It's like one of those sci-fi things where they're lost in another dimension.
You're muted, Steph.
Thank you. Bachelorette, do you have some questions for our contestants?
Well, could I know who they are first?
They're just contestant number 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, all right. Contestant number 1.
Hey, baby.
Contestant number 1. Tell me a little bit about your mother.
So I gotta tell you, my mother, she is the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, there is stellar, but she is interstellar. I mean, I remember when she married my father, who's a Lincoln lawyer. He was just a great, great person. And I know that if you were with me, you'd feel just as special. I mean, you would not want to lose a guy in 10 days. I'm just telling you.
Well, thank you, number one.
Anytime.
Bachelor number two. I'm a rather sedentary person. Could you tell me how you might entertain me?
I could sit beside you and you could scratch me behind my ears. I could lean against you when I sat beside you and look at you. I could just like this, and I could entertain you that way. Or are you entertaining me, or am I entertaining you?
You're entertaining me.
Oh, okay. I could be really happy to see you whenever you came back, and whatever you'd like to do, we could do it. I'd be happy with it.
Thank you. Bachelor number three. Tell me about the restaurant where you'll take me for dinner.
That's a good question. I haven't been to a restaurant in several years. I usually spend my time playing with my gaming system or working on my laptop so I can play more games. The last time I had dinner out, my mom brought a Domino's pizza to the top of the steps. I think I know more about my mom. I think she's still alive because she keeps bringing pizzas to the top of the steps. So if you like Domino's pizza, we can do that.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you, Bachelor number three. Bachelor number one.
Seem to have lost my shirt. Don't know how that happened.
Bachelor number one, could I ask what is your occupation?
Well, I mean, I get around. I ride bikes with my buddy Lance. I starred in a few films. I mean, it's been like that, I guess. I used to I've acted as a stripper. I've gotten around, chased some teenage girls. That's what I like to do. I mean, I get older, but they stay the same age. You know what I'm saying? So, and by the way, I'm not Matt Getz, so don't think that. So, I'm just an all-around good guy. I've written some books, gotten around. Oh, here, let me get back so you can really kind of take it all in. All right.
Thank you, Bachelor number one. Bachelor number two, do you have any hobbies?
Yes, I like to, I run after cars sometimes when I can get outside, and, oh, there's a dog outside. And I like to meet dogs, and I like to run around sometimes, and I'm really happy most of the time. And I have a lot of energy sometimes, except when I'm sleeping, of course, and then I sleep. But I really like to do a lot of things, and I like to run around, and I just, hang with the pack,
Thank you. Bachelor number three, what is your occupation?
Well, I tell you, I don't really have one. I don't even think I could compete with Bachelor number one. I won't even take my shirt off. My mom told me I had psoriasis or something like that. And number two, he's active. I just sit in front of my gaming system. And most of the time I keep the lights off because I like sitting in a dark room.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay, so our bachelorette, do you have any guesses as to who these three contestants could be?
I think so. I do think that Mark is a slime ball, maybe a porno guy. I'm not quite sure,
Very
which.
close.
What's that?
Very close.
Well, he did the all right, which made me think maybe he was Matthew McConaughey, but Matthew McConaughey
That's
is
it.
usually.
You did it.
Oh my goodness.
Excellent. And bachelor number 2, who could he be?
Well, bachelor number 2 is a dog. And given that I know who this particular guy is, I'm thinking maybe his name is Sherman. But if not, I don't know what his name is, I'm afraid.
You got it.
You got
Tide
it.
is
You
becoming
got
a
it.
dog, yeah.
All right. And our third contestant,
Good job,
who do
Sue.
you think he is?
Oh, well, my goodness. I feel like I should bring you something other than a pizza. Yeah, poor guy. He's a man who sits in his room by himself. He doesn't even know if his mother's alive or not. I mean, I don't know. Is he Jamie?
Oh,
Ooh.
words hurt, Sue.
Ooh.
Words hurt.
I'm sorry. But
So he lives in his parents' basement. He's a
Oh,
35-year-old
I
man, I
pictured-
believe, that lives in his parents' basement.
I pictured him upstairs, maybe in the attic, because he said she
That's
leaves at
right.
the top of the stairs. But yes, that makes perfect sense. Oh,
Excellent. Thank you, Sue.
I'm-
That is not an easy task to try to figure out in a couple of questions who these folks are, and you did a beautiful job.
I don't have to
Mark,
take any of them home, right?
you don't. In the game show, you would actually get a trip with one of these folks, so you never know.
Yeah, definitely, Ben.
Ruff, ruff.
All right, thank you. Mark, do you want to take the next piece?
Sure. Let me look up what it is. Sorry. All right, we are going to do press conference. Actually, I cannot run that show because I'm the man of the hour.
The victim. I mean, the guesser. All right, so Mark, I'm going to have you go ahead and go into the breakout room. This is a game where we are having a press conference. Actually, Marcus is going to be the speaker at a press conference. We have some folks from the audience who are going to be asking some questions, members of the press, of course, and they're going to drop subtle and then hopefully a little less subtle hints as to who Mark could possibly be. Mark, can you hear us?
No, he said.
That's right. Excellent. Usually when we send them out of the room, you hear a no from the outside. Okay, we are going to figure out some kind of interesting trait that Mark has or something that would be newsworthy, right? So either something that's never happened, the first man on Mars, or a particular person. What ideas do you have?
Captain Ahab.
Captain Ahab from Moby Dick.
Jamie Ward.
Jamie Ward.
Too hard.
He swam across the Atlantic.
That'd be fun. No, that would be super fun.
Oh, someone who swam across the Atlantic. Is that what you said?
Yes.
How about that? Let's go with a person who swam across the Atlantic. No easy feat.
Okay, I'll go. I'm going to go fetch him.
Thank you very much. And so for this, our reporters will be posing questions to our speaker. I believe he's coming to the podium very soon. Mark, are you there?
Who are all the reporters?
Our group.
Well, can we include the audience too, like Arthur and Ken and anybody who wants to ask a question and if they identify as a reporter?
Sure, we just need to keep things kind of moving along. So
Okay.
Mark may be guessing after a few people have
Did
asked
Did-
questions. Did you get
did Mark? Is Mark? Oh,
Mark, you're back. We were just introducing you to come to the podium. You might want to unmute if you'd like us to hear you. And then we can get started.
Yep. Just going to play that game by myself for a while, and the questions were pretty softball. I know that there's been a lot of talk recently, and I'm here to address it. I've got some prepared remarks, but let's just jump into the questions. Who has the first question? Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is it is Bill Swimley, and we're from the National Nautical Society, and was just wondering, were you upset by the lack of interest that the Sharks had in you?
No, actually I wasn't. As many of you know from my career, that I'm a bitter old man, so it's really a good shark repellent. Next question. Yes, sir, in the blue.
Boris Sagnowski, National Enquirer from the United Kingdom. Sir, were you upset by the reports in the British press about you being all wet?
No. At my age, any moisture is more than welcome. Next question. Young lady with the striped shirt.
Deborah Dingbat from the Detroit News.
Oh, Deborah, yeah.
There's been speculation in the news that you weighed 300 pounds before this particular experience. Is that true?
My weight, I really don't like to discuss it in public, but I have known to chew the fat. But the next questions, please. Yes, sir. In the blue.
Amy Dell from Greenpeace.
Okay. Arthur. Yeah.
Did you take any precautions to keep the wildlife that you were near safe?
I am always a big proponent of wildlife, and I really try to keep everybody around me safe, including the plants and animals. Sir in the blue.
Boris Skagnowski, National Enquirer. Sir, it's been rumored that they say you currently can just drift along with the flow. Is that true?
I'm trying to go with the flow right now. As you can see, it's not going so well. Yes, sir.
We were wondering what it was like to, upon your arrival, commune with all those wives of the Jersey Shore.
Commune with the wives from the Jersey Shore. Yeah, I get around a lot on Jersey Shore. Yes, lady in the blue.
Yes, I was just wondering exactly how long does it take to go, across the pond, and exactly how deep did this get?
It's a very deep subject, and probably one we don't have too much time for. It's Sir in the blue.
Yes, Boris Skagnowski again. Is it true that you drank over half the wine you picked up in France when you started out?
Yeah, it is true. I do have a little bit of a drinking problem. One or two more questions.
Did you tell your mom you were going to be gone for more than 2 weeks?
I did not tell my mom that. Sir in the yellow with the banner. Young lady with her hand raised.
You're muted.
Young lady who I asked to hand signal this.
This is Angela Anique with Physique Magazine, and I am just wondering which grew more, your biceps or your quadriceps?
Wow. You've seen me with my shirt off, so I don't know if sir, and with the banner.
Again, this is Boris Sagnowski, and I was wondering, on your trip, you were accompanied by a trawler, and we were wondering, as you crawled along, if that trawler helped or hindered your journey. Crawled.
Final question, lady in the blue. I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question. It was, you're trawling along. What are you gonna do?
So I just was wondering, and our audience has been asking, exactly how did you pick this particular body of water? Did you ever consider the Pacific or the Mediterranean Sea? And would you have taken any different kinds of strokes?
Wow, it's a swimmer, yeah. It's not Mark Spitz.
Not Mark Spitz, a swimmer. What body of water were you traversing?
The Atlantic.
It was the Atlantic. The first swimmer to make the.
Oh, okay, all right. I was like,
swim
I
across
was
the
hoping you were
Atlantic.
like, you need a name. I'm like, yeah, okay, great, yeah.
Excellent.
Way to
Thanks,
go, Mark.
All right.
We are on the last few minutes of our session, and so we wanted to wrap up by playing a little bit of 185. Our understanding is that some of you got to play that last night as well, and just to give
no
you
evidence that any 185 was played. No evidence.
None.
all right. And what we're doing is we're going to use our puns, and the format is that we say 185 blank, walk into a bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve blank here. And then you end it with 185 and something they either say or do. And so we need a noun.
Is this an all play game, Stephanie?
This is an all play game. Everybody can participate in this. And when you're ready, just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll call on you. And I'll put the format in the chat. So we need some nouns from people. Just go ahead and say them out loud if you'd like to.
Butterfly.
Something we can do some puns. A butterfly? And how about we open this up to be about any kind of insect or bug? So with that as our topic, who would like to start?
185 spiders walk into a bar and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve 185 spiders here. And the 185 spiders just crawled away.
185 bees walk into a bar. Bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve bees here. 185 bees say, well, man, just buzz off.
185 caterpillars walk into a bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve caterpillars here. 185 butterflies metamorphosize.
185 caterpillars crawl into a bar. Bartender says, we don't serve 185 caterpillars in here. Caterpillar says, hey, we just want to get smashed.
Oh, wow. 185.
Gary.
Oh,
185 spiders walk into the bar. Bartender says, sorry, we do not serve 185 spiders in here. And 1,480 legs walk out.
All right. Dave.
185 inchworms walk into a bar. A bartender says, we don't serve inchworms here. They said, we'll just be around for a little bit.
Excellent. Let's, Jamie.
185 termites walk into a bar and the bartender says, we don't serve 185 termites here. And the 185 termites said, we just want to know where the bar's tender.
Mark.
185 bugs walk into a Liverpool bar. Bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve bugs here. 185 bugs say, man, come on, man, we're here to see the Beatles.
Nice.
Chris has his hand up.
195 caterpillars walk into a bar. bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve caterpillars here. 185 caterpillars say, you can't worm your way out of this. Bruce.
185 dung beetles walk into a bar. Bartender says, sorry, we don't serve dung beetles here. The dung beetles leave and say, boy, this place really stinks.
Matthew.
185 bees walk into a bar. Bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve bees here. 185 bees say, you're such a buzzkill.
Oh man, I think we may have to end on that one. We are at 110,
Yes.
and we are getting back on track. If you
Can we
want
get
to
one
do
more in? One more in?
One more. One more.
Madura? I can't read that.
Yeah.
Please, last one.
185 grasshoppers walk into a bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve 185 grasshoppers here. 185 grasshoppers hop to the other bar.
Hi.
Hey, there'll be more
Thank
of that in
you
the
all.
hospitality room. And,
Yes, and if you want to do more 185, come to the hospitality room tonight, because I'm sure that 185 will ensue. Oh, awesome. This was really fun.